the GOP decided they were going to do something called a Pledge to America, and they've unveiled that today. And that's their promise to America if they re-win the House, the Senate, etc. Now, the way they gathered ideas for that, it was actually very good. It was, very grassroots, actually net roots in a lot of ways. It's called America Speaking Out, and they solicited advice, and apparently 1 million different people, or they got 1 million comments on it from a great number of people. Fantastic. They're using the internets, the series of tubes that Ted Stevens talked about, and they're reaching out to American people. Now, it's their own folks, and they might come up with some crazy ideas, but hey, it's a step in the right direction, right? A little bit more accountability. Well, the thing that came in number one, the issue that came in number one was actually very good. See, that's why if you actually ask people, you might be surprised what they get. And as we've told you on a number of issues, the Republican voters are actually not with the Republican politicians. So what came in number one? It was to make sure that we do not give any more tax breaks to companies that are outsourcing jobs. Now, we're not preventing them from outsourcing jobs. It's a free country. It's a free world. But we just don't want to give them tax breaks or tax incentives to encourage that. Now, that came in number one because it makes so much sense. I think Democrats can agree to that. Republicans can agree to that. So we'll probably get this thing done, right? Because it came in number one for the Republicans. And the Republican Party had originally been in favor of that proposal. And guess what? The Democrats are now introducing a bill that would do exactly that, okay? No, if you create jobs here in the U.S., the jobs that used to be abroad but are now relocated to the U.S., we're going to give you tax breaks. But if you're taking jobs that used to be in the U.S. and exporting them outside, we're not going to give you tax breaks. Come on, who's going to disagree with that, right? Of course, you know who, right? The Republican Party. Totally against it, and will be obstructing it and blocking it to make sure it doesn't happen. It's number one on your agenda, according to your voters. What happened? Oh, no, not buying it. No, why? Because that would hurt the real constituency of Republican politicians, the richest people and corporations in the country. Oh, no, you can't touch those corporations. I need to give them more of your tax breaks. I don't care if they hire anywhere else as long as they contribute to me. Perfect example, Representative Brady. It's Kevin Brady, a Republican of Texas, and somebody's going to ask him on camera about it, and his answer is awesome. Let's watch.
As of last week, I don't know the exact date, but the second highest idea voted up by popular vote was to end tax breaks for companies that ship jobs overseas. Do you expect something like that to be included with the new contract that's unveiled tomorrow?
I haven't seen what. Can you tell me what exactly that tax provision is? Because right now, the ones we've seen from the Democrats in the White House actually penalize U.S. companies trying to sell and compete overseas. So they do just the opposite. These tax breaks that they're trying to supposedly reform actually ships our jobs overseas if the president succeeds. So I think they're
total nonsense.
They're very ignorant about how the tax code hurts us as we try to compete.
So you think that some form of that, just different than what the Democrats have proposed, will be in the proposal tomorrow?
I think our proposal is going to be, how do you create the strongest economy in the world? Now, how's America continue to lead for the next 100 years? And all that has to do with lower taxes, more opportunities, especially in small business.
Ha ha! There you go. So first, the person doing the interview there for Think Progress said it was the second highest priority. This morning, it had shot up to number one. Okay, so and then he was asking him yesterday, do you think it'll be revealed today that will be part of your pledge to America, since it's coming in the top two at that time, right? And of course, he said, no, it will not be in our pledge. And then he said, oh, no, the Democrats, what they're proposing is totally the opposite. They're trying to, did you notice what he said? He said they're trying to hurt companies that are trying to sell and compete overseas. In other words, companies that send jobs overseas, they're trying to hurt them, right? No, they're not trying to hurt them. They just don't want to give them tax breaks to hire overseas because we want them hiring over here. So do you get the duplicity there? Right? And then he's like, so it would totally hurt, and then at the end, we'd have more people hired overseas. Why? Based on what logic? Not based on your logic. And at the end, he told you, of course, what his real plan is. Quote, All that has to do is lower taxes. The one and only priority for Republicans. Lower taxes for our really, really rich friends and corporations. And by the way, the Pledge to America was unveiled today. It did not have that provision that was at this point number one among their voters, their constituents, their voters, and their readers, okay? Not only did it not have it, guess what the main policy proposal was? Now, if you can't guess this, you just haven't been following along. Of course, it was to cut taxes for everybody, including, and most especially, top 2% of the country and multinational corporations, no matter where they ship the jobs. Republicans, pathetic.